I sat in my apartment staring at my last few dollars, knowing I could either pay rent or buy groceries for the week.
Welcome back to God Showed Up Stories. Tonight's story is for anyone who has ever felt financially overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted, and terrified about how they were going to survive another month. The people silently carrying stress while trying to appear okay on the outside. The people who know what it feels like to check bank accounts with anxiety, to skip meals, to sit awake at night wondering how life became this hard. And if you've ever had a moment where you genuinely did not know how things were going to work out, this story is for you. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who may need encouragement tonight. And comment below. Have you ever had a season where you didn't know how you were going to make ends meet? Never forget this. God often shows up quietly during the moments when people feel most abandoned. All right, let's get into tonight's story.
A few years ago, I hit one of the lowest financial seasons of my life emotionally. From the outside, nobody really knew how bad things had become. I still went to work, still smiled politely, still told people I was doing okay. But behind closed doors, I was drowning financially. Everything started collapsing slowly after unexpected bills and reduced work hours completely destroyed my savings. Every paycheck disappeared almost immediately. Rent, utilities, gas, debt. It felt like I could never catch up, and honestly, the stress started affecting every part of my life emotionally. I stopped sleeping properly. I constantly checked my bank account hoping numbers would somehow magically change. I became anxious every time my phone rang because I feared another bill collector or overdue notice. One particular month became the breaking point. After paying part of my overdue bills, I looked at the small amount of money left in my account and realized something devastating. I could either pay rent or buy groceries, but not both. I remember sitting on the floor of my tiny apartment, staring at the screen in complete silence. My refrigerator was almost empty. A loaf of bread, a few eggs, some bottled water. That was basically it. And honestly, I felt ashamed. Ashamed that life had gotten this difficult. Ashamed that I couldn't seem to fix it. Ashamed that I felt like I was failing at adulthood completely. That night I cried harder than I had in a very long time. I remember praying, God, I don't know what to do anymore. But honestly, part of me also felt angry emotionally, because I kept wondering, where are you? I had been working hard, trying my best, praying constantly, yet everything still felt impossible. The next few days were emotionally exhausting. I tried stretching every dollar, skipping meals, pretending I wasn't hungry, and one afternoon after work, I sat alone in my car, emotionally drained beyond words. I remember watching families walk into grocery stores carrying full carts while I mentally calculated whether I could afford bread and peanut butter. That feeling broke me emotionally. Not jealousy, just exhaustion. I felt invisible. But then something unexpected happened. The next morning, I received a text message from someone I hadn't spoken to in months. An older woman from church. She simply said, "Hey, God put you on my heart this morning. Are you okay?" I stared at that message for several seconds, because honestly, I almost lied. I almost typed, "I'm fine." But something inside me finally cracked emotionally. And for once, I told the truth. A few hours later, she arrived at my apartment, not with judgment, not with pity, just kindness. She brought groceries, fresh food, household supplies, and before leaving, she quietly handed me an envelope. Inside was enough money to cover the rest of my rent. I immediately started crying, not because of the money itself, but because for the first time in weeks, I no longer felt invisible. That moment changed something inside me deeply. Because God didn't show up through some giant miracle, He showed up through compassion, through community, through someone simply listening to his heart. Over the following months, life slowly stabilized. Work improved. Stress eased gradually. Opportunities opened. But honestly, the biggest thing that changed was my perspective. Because I realized something important during that season. Sometimes pride keeps people suffering silently longer than they need to. I had convinced myself asking for help meant weakness. But God often works through people willing to care for each other. And maybe someone watching tonight needs to hear this too. If you're struggling financially, if you feel emotionally exhausted, if you're carrying silent stress about survival, bills, food, or rent, please remember this. Your current situation does not define your worth. Hard seasons happen to good people. And just because you feel forgotten right now does not mean God has abandoned you. Sometimes God is already moving behind the scenes in ways you simply cannot see yet. Because one text message, one act of kindness, one unexpected moment can completely shift someone's ability to keep going. And one day you may realize God was quietly carrying you through the very season you thought would completely break you.
If this story touched your heart today, comment below. God carried me through. And if you're currently facing financial stress or uncertainty, please remember this. You are not invisible to God. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who may need encouragement tonight. Thank you for spending this time with God Showed Up Stories. And always remember, God always shows up right on time.